Hello everyone, I am Dr. Sangeeta Balkote Khandai, practicing gynecologist in East Nagpur, working at Pashpoli Maternity Home along with NMC Nagpur. Today my topic of discussion is premenstrual syndrome. Now, what is premenstrual syndrome? Premenstrual syndrome is defined as combination of emotional, behavioral and physical symptoms that increases in severity during the luteal phase of menstrual cycle and decreases by the end of the menstruation. Royal College of Obstetric and Gynecologist Green Talk Guideline says that there must be symptom-free interval after menstruation and before ovulation. Symptoms are usually up to 14 days before the start of menses. Classification of PMS is according to symptoms. It is given by Abraham. PMS A, B, C and D. Anxiety according to symptoms, anxiety. PMS C according to carving. PMS D, depression. PMS H is hydration. Second classification is given by International Society of Premenstrual Disorder, which is also called as ISPMD, defined precise criteria according to the symptoms, and it is divided into two parts: core or typical PMD, variant PMD. Core PMD is associated with ovulatory menstrual cycle, and it is again subdivided into physical symptoms and predominantly psychological symptoms, and C is mixed. Variant PMC encompasses more complex feature and has four categories. A is premenstrual symptoms with menses, premenstrual symptoms in absence of menses. C is progesterone induced PMS, and D is PMS with an ovulatory ovarian activity. Etiology. Now we will go to the etiology of PMS. Etiology of PMS is always centered around ovarian cycle, and this theory is supported by lack of symptoms during the following states. During puberty, there is no PMS. During pregnancy, after menopause, and during treatment with gonadotropin releasing analogs. Sex steroids. Second theory is that sex steroid easily passes the blood-brain barrier, and there are abundant receptors in many areas of the brain, including amygdala and hypothalamus. Progesterone is metabolized in the brain in two forms: allopregnanolol and pregnenolol. Both are GABA inhibitory neurotransmitter. Both acts they are the stimulant of GABA inhibitory neurotransmitter system. In brain, there are profuse GABA receptors. GABA receptors are associated with alternation in mood and cognition. Hence, the worsening of symptoms is experienced during the luteal phase of the cycle. Second is serotonergic activity. It is affected by estrogen and progesterone. Progesterone increases the monoamino oxidase, which is also called as MAO, and it decreases 5-hydroxytryptamine level. Both are responsible for the depression and mood changes. The graph is given below. Diagnosis. Now, how can we diagnose? There is no specific test for diagnosis of PMS. Only history taking is important, and history taking should be taken in a precise form. We have to go on the psychological symptoms of the patient and physical symptoms of the patient. Secondly, we have to keep DRSP. DRSP means daily record of severity of the problems during PMS, which is and documentation should be precise. It should be during luteal phase only, and documentation should be in such a way that the graph should suggest that there is regression of the symptoms during menstruation. We give symptom tracker to the patient, and it is to be done from the first day of menstrual cycle up to the end of the menstrual cycle. Some symptoms are being told to the patient in form of headache, dizziness, bloating, abdominal tenderness, breast tenderness, and change in mood. Second is this kind of graph we can receive if the patient is charting it very sincerely, and this graph should be taken during 2 menses. Specific test, there is no specific test for PMS, but we can go on for thyroid function testing, utilizing hormone level, FSH level, and most important test is maintenance of the menstrual cycle calendar. Now we come to the treatment. There are three modalities of the treatment: pharmacological treatment, non-pharmacological treatment, and surgical treatment. First we come to the non-pharmacological policies. In non-pharmacological policies, counseling is important, exercises which are very very important for the patient, lifestyle changes improvement can be done, stress management, assertiveness training should be given. Again, it is said that complementary therapy with extracts of Agnus cactus fruit, it is not proved but trial are going on, and it is seen that 52% of the patient respond well to this extract. Pharmacological treatment includes antidepressant drug, oral contraceptive, gonadotropin releasing analogs, and in antidepressant drug it comes selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors tablets in form of fluoxetine 20 to 60 mg, seeing the age and weight of the patient, paroxetine 20 to 30 mg, citalopram 20 to 40 mg, sertraline 50 to 150 mg. Any of this drug can be used. Second comes the oral contraceptive. Now, newer form of oral contraceptives are becoming the drospirenol 3 mg along with ethinyl estradiol 20 micrograms for 24 days followed by 4 days placebo. As such, practically it has been seen that there is no benefit for progesterone alone pills nowadays. Estrogen is administered as a transdermal patch and is effective treatment for PMS. Progesterone should also be given in the lowest and shortest dose in order to prevent endometrial hyperplasia, which is going to occur because of estrogen. Prevalence is shown there. We have seen that 48% patient has mild PMS, 44% has moderate PMS, and rest have severe and very severe PMS. Now we go to the causes of how does PMS occur. It is due to changes in the sex hormone during luteal phase of the menstrual cycle. Second is low serotonin level in the brain. Women who have high prolactin level and low beta endorphin level. Again comes the role of thyroid dysfunction also. Secondly, the lifestyle changes, consumption of caffeine, alcohol, smoking, stress, high salt diet, and dietary deficiency if the patient is vegetarian. Now we categorize the symptoms into two types: psychological symptoms and physical symptoms. In psychological symptoms comes bout of anger, irritability, higher than normal level of fear, stress, anxiety, episodes of crying, oversensitive nature, higher level of restlessness, increased thought generation and reacting in the way, exaggerated mood swing, frequent episodes of depression. Physical symptoms are in form of breast tenderness, bloating, weight gain, acne, either too excessive sleep or too small sleep, and appetite changing, overeating, moods of having excessive sweet eatings. Now we can chart. It is found that maximum patient, 86% of patient present with fatigability, 67% with breast tenderness, 42% with increase in appetite and rest, abdominal bloating, appetite, irritability, bowel and bladder complaints. Now we go to one terminology of PMS which is in a very severe form. It is called as premenstrual dystrophic disorder. In this, all the symptoms are in aggressive nature. Mainly, anger and irritability is more, sleep problems are there, headache is there, and breast tenderness, and patient goes very often to the doctor in PMDD. It is seen that we can differentiate PMS and PMDD. PMDD and premenstrual symptoms are two ways which are seen by level of psychiatrist and in angle of obstetrician. PMS, to diagnose PMS and PMDD, we have to have only one symptoms for PMS and minimal 5 symptoms and maximum 11 symptoms for PMDD. In premenstrual syndrome, functional impairment is not required, and in PMDD, social role of function or psychiatrist role is important. Prevention, what measures should we take for prevention of premenstrual syndrome? Exercise is the must. Yoga is must. Thai chai regularly, which are being practiced in Chinese pattern. Thai chai is one of form of meditation which can be used, and it reduces the anxiety. Eat a well balanced diet, whole green vegetable, fruits, regular exercise, weight reduction, cycling. Reduce intake of sugar, caffeine, alcohol in the diet. Now, whatever symptoms we have told, we can see, according to RCOG guideline, these symptoms are used to diagnose physiological, it is given in the chart, physiological premenstrual disorder, core menstrual disorder, premenstrual exacerbation, premenses disorder, progesterone-induced premenstrual disorder, and underlying psychological disorders. So now to sum up, we should improve sleep routine. We should ask the patient to change the habit of smoking, alcohol intake, or more excessive coffee or nicotine intake. Patient should be calm and happy. Patient should be taught valuable things, and we should give education to the patient in form to focus the positive aspects of the life. She should be given diet counseling. Now to sum up, there are whatever we have talked, we have summed up in this chart. First line of treatment is exercise, cognitive behavioral therapy, vitamin B6, combined new generation pills. Second line is estradiol patches, use of hormones. Third line is gonadotropin releasing analog. And fourth line of treatment is total abdominal hysterectomy with bilateral solfaingo-oophorectomy, but patient has to be kept lifelong on hormone replacement therapy. Again, it is said that oophorectomy can also help, but patient has problem of the endometrial hyperplasia, and so this method we try to abandon as much as possible. Thank you so much for patience hearing.